Mine is not. Thought I did it over there, Mom. Rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
County Commissioners Court now in progress. The Honorable Judge Trevino presides.
JWC County Commissioners Court for today, May 13th, 2024, 9 a.m. It's now in session. We'll go on to agenda item number 3, public testimony. Is there anybody out in the public that would like to address the court at this time? I would like to.
Good morning, Judge.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Sheriff.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just want to inform you that we are getting ready for the law enforcement torch run that will take place on Wednesday at 9:30 at the stadium. We've got some officers from our department participating, as well as the city of Alice and surrounding areas. Also want to inform you that we have 69 inmates at the county jail. We have 21 of them in Merritt County, and we have 5 in Zapata County. This week, I signed a $32,000 purchase order for Zapata County on the inmates that we're housing over there. We're also having other training that is taking place. We're also considering a interlocal agreement with the Texas Drug Force organization that we discussed, Judge, the other day. We'd like for you to review it, and then we'll go forward from there. It's Law Enforcement Memorial Week in remembrance of law enforcement, so we're hosting a luncheon here on Friday for our officers. I know that Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez had invited us to one of his openings in Fremont, but it's been rescheduled to 11 o'clock a.m. We'll make an attempt to be there. On the other note that we'd like to inform you is that we have also a humane officer that has applied with us, and we're looking at him possibly coming in this week for an interview and go from there. I believe what we need to do, and Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez and I have talked about it, is to have a roundtable discussion regarding also the housing of animals at the Alice Humane Department or the Humane Office Pound and on Commerce Road. That's all we have.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to mention to the court that today is May 13th. The Texas Historical Commission grant is due today, and it's been completed. I signed it this morning, and it will be submitted. So just a little update on that.
Just one thing, just to add on what the sheriff just said right now, that Friday we have a grand opening there at the building that we purchased in Fremont. It's going to be a food pantry tied in with Real. So we're going to have a little ribbon cutting ceremony. So we send invitations out. So if y'all can make it, appreciate it very much. That's it.
Okay, going on to agenda item number 4, discuss, consider, and take action to approve minutes from previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
A second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5, presentation by G. Carlos Rodriguez Jr., Chief Appraiser from JWC County Appraisal District on appraisal values.
Judge Trevino, Commissioners, thank you for having me here this morning. I thank Commissioner Gonzalez for asking me to come here this morning to address some of the issues that he's had, some of the questions he's had from his constituents and some taxpayers regarding the valuations that the appraisal district has done for 2024.
Can you just state your name for the court?
Sure, my name is Carlos Rodriguez, Chief Appraiser with the Jim Wells County Appraisal District.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm sure a lot of you have had questions either this year or in the past regarding the evaluations from the appraisal district and taxes. Somehow they equate the appraisal district as being part of the county sometimes. I know when we used to share, or when we used to rent office space at City Hall, they thought we were part of the city. So they'd come in and pay the taxes, and then they'd come to our office and say, okay, now I need you to go fix the potholes on my street. So I'm glad we're not there anymore. But the public sometimes is surprised to find out that we're actually a state agency. We fall under the Property Tax Division of the State Comptroller's Office. They're the ones that regulate what we do. They determine how we determine values, how we appraise. They determine the amount of times we can reappraise, and they also determine how we're supposed to notify the public. We also have a local board. That local board, though, just hires the chief appraiser and makes sure that he's competent and approves our budget and makes sure that the budget is being used properly. So the appraisal district has several agencies that look over what we do. We're highly regulated. We're highly audited. The state comptroller is always in our office auditing our work, our appraisal work, how we're handling exemptions to the taxpayer, how we're valuing special valuations, which are like ag values and timberland values. And our board audits our financials, our budgets, and also the performance of the chief appraiser. So all these eyes looking at what the appraisal district does gives a little bit of confidence to the public, credibility. They might not like what we do. Like I don't like sometimes some of the things that we have to do. I'm a taxpayer like everybody else. But at least they understand that there's people looking at what we do and that we're following state guidelines. Now, the State Comptroller Office requires us to appraise all property at its market value. Market value being what would you be able to sell your house, your ranch, your land, your vacant lot, your commercial building, what would you be able to sell it in today's market? Not what you paid 5 or 10 years ago, but what would you be able to get to it right now? And the way we do that is we look for other like properties that have sold recently to determine what the value is. If you live in a neighborhood, we'll look at a certain neighborhood, we'll look at houses that are similar to your house in a similar neighborhood, similar size, similar construction, and we'll use those recent sales to determine what your house would sell for in this market. Same thing with land, farmland, ranch land, grazing land. What is it selling right now? So I handed out some spreadsheets to y'all that show what our preliminary values are for 2024. The appraisal district has finished appraising for 2024, and we send out notices to the taxpayer. And this gives you an idea of what values have done countywide. The first line across the street gives you a good example of what the county can look for as far as valuations are concerned. And the first column shows market value of real estate. And it shows that from last year to this year, there was an increase of about $934 million of market value increase since last year. Now, before you all get excited about, well, there's almost $1 billion more of tax base, that's very deceiving, because most of that increase was farmland, ranch land, and recreational hunting land. And the taxpayers that own those properties, they don't pay on market value, they pay on the agricultural value. And there's a big difference between market and agricultural value, and we'll get that to a little bit further down on the spreadsheet. And if you continue down, you see, even though there was increases in the real estate, there was decreases in commercial personal property values, there was decreases in industrial personal property, and there was also decreases in value in the minerals. And then you see the totals, and then from the totals to the right is all the reductions from the market value for special valuations and exemptions. The first one that just jumps out at you is the ag use loss. There was about almost $1.2 billion in lost value because of people qualifying for the agricultural valuation. So that's why I'm saying that even though we raised values, market values on ag land, on farmland and ranch land, the taxpayer is not going to see a hit in their taxes because they're receiving the agricultural value and not paying on their market value. For those people that are not receiving an ag value or special valuation, there is something that the legislature passed this year that is going to help them out too. If you go to where it says 20% on the top, the legislature for the first, is enacted for the first time this year in 2024. They call it a 20% circuit breaker limit, and it works similar to the homestead limit, where the appraisal district, let's say your house was valued at $100,000 last year, they valued it at $200,000 this year. You're not going to pay taxes on $200,000. You're going to pay only on 10% more than what it was the previous year. So if that would happen, you would pay taxes on a value of 110,000, not 200,000. And the 20% circuit, that was only for homesteads. Now the 20% circuit breaker addresses all other real estate. Your rental property, your commercial building, your vacant lot, your land, everything, even regardless of what it increases to, there's a limit to the taxable value. It could only go up to by 20%. We targeted Orange Grove, and I'll show you why we targeted Orange Grove. In Orange Grove, we had a lot of lots that were on the books. They hadn't been reappraised. Actually, our land hadn't been reappraised for years. We still had farmland, ranch land at $500, $600, $700 an acre. You haven't been able to buy ranch land for $500, $600, $700 acres, I don't know, since the late 70s, early 80s maybe. And the same thing with lots. They hadn't been reappraised. We have lots in Orange Grove for $1,000. Based on the comps, they're selling now for $20,000. So you say, wow, that's 2,000% increase for the taxpayer. Well, because of the circuit breaker law, that $1,000 lot that's now $20,000, they're not going to pay on that $20,000. They're only going to pay on 20% more, which would be what, $1,200 instead of $20,000. So there's some help also for the taxpayers that do not have those special ag valuations. So bottom line, the county can expect, as of right now, preliminary values, a total tax base increase of, and that's the last line here, about $109 million. Now, these are preliminary. They're not going to look, these are going to look different. We just started last week the protest season. The taxpayers right now have the right to protest values. We'll make adjustments. I anticipate the values, the tax rate increase for the county will be somewhere about 75 to 100 million, somewhere in that range. Still hefty amount, but certainly not the almost $1 billion that, was kind of a deceiving number in the beginning. The second part of that handout that I gave you, there's several pages that are stapled together. As I told you, the state constantly audits us. They constantly are looking for information from us. And these are kind of the preliminary worksheets that they give us, telling us what we're doing wrong, basically. And we've done a lot wrong in the last several years. Like, for instance, the first page is for the Orange Grove ISD. They're telling us, based on their data, that single family, and I highlighted the more important ones. The single family residents, we're only valuing them at 79% of market value. They want us to be between 95 and 105% of market value. So we have invalid values there. But then look at category E, which is non-ag land, so land and improvements. They're saying we're at 57% of market value. We're half of what they're actually selling for. That's what they're saying. And if you continue to go through the sheets, Alice ISD, Ben Bolt ISD, it's the same thing. They're saying that our values on land are half of what they're supposed to be. So that kind of prompted us to start raising values. My philosophy is, yes, we got to do what the state wants us to do, but we always have to keep the taxpayer top of our mind. So we felt that if we started with the ag values, the farms and ranches, it doesn't affect the taxpayer as much, but also gets us to the point where we're following more of the state guidelines. There's a last page there of my handout is a letter that we got from the state comptroller's office. If you're like me, way back when I first started, I would always ask myself, who cares what the state comptroller wants us to do? This is our county. What are the consequences of us not valuing the property properly? So you have that letter. To tell you the truth, before 2023, there was very little consequences. It was fairly benign. You would get reported to the TDLR, which is the Texas Department of Licensing and Registration. the chief appraiser would get a mark on his license saying that he had invalid values for a certain school district. And that was about it. It could go decades like that. The only time it would affect somebody that was a chief appraiser was if he tried to change jobs from one to another, that mark would be there. Well, that all changed in the fall of 2023, just in time. I became chief appraiser in December of 2023, so just in time for me. So now this letter will tell you that we had invalid values in Orange Grove, but it tells you that we've had invalid values in Orange Grove for 3 years consecutive. Actually, we've had invalid values in Orange Grove for 7 out of the last 8 years. And what that's caused, it's caused millions and millions of dollars of lost funding for the Orange Grove School District. So right now, they're probably on the verge of bankruptcy because of those low values. They haven't gotten their full school funding from the state because of that. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had state auditors at our office for about a week, looking at all our organization, starting from the board of directors, chief appraiser, our appraisers, our clerks, how we're running the office, why we haven't had valid values in the Orange Grove School District for 3 years consecutive. We have not gotten the report in yet. We expect it in the next month or so. So now, if we have invalid values, they give us recommendations. We have 1 year to enact those recommendations and improve on our values. If we don't improve on our values, then the state can come in and take over the valuation process for the entire county. In my opinion, opinion of most chief appraisers, that would be a disaster, especially for the smaller rural counties like ours, because the state will come in. You know what real estate values have done in Texas. They've shot up, primarily in the more metropolitan areas, Bexar County, San Antonio, Nueces County, Corpus, Tarrant, Austin, all those areas, the real estate values have shot up. When they look at rural counties, they just look at, in general, what has happened in Texas, and they'll value properties based on that. So in my opinion, it'll be a disaster. That's why we started this year in trying to work on increasing some of the values, but always keeping on top of our mind the taxpayer, to make sure that we keep them in mind first also. So that's all I have. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer anything that y'all may have.
Thank you so much.
So these, I have one question. Go ahead. So these percentages that they want to go up to 95 to 100%, that's going to affect all the ISDs? I mean, it could affect all the ISDs as far as revenue?
Well, so yes, because we've also been invalid in the Alice ISD for the last couple of years. We're not at a targeted, we're not there yet because we haven't had 3 consecutive years. It'll take another 2 years for us to get there. And that's why we're taking actions in the areas that we think it'll affect the taxpayers the least first, and see where we can get with that. And then after that, we'll have to start working on values. Do we think that the state determines, or the state comptroller determines what they think market value is? Are they right? I don't know. Like I said, I think they use the more metropolitan areas to say, this should be your market values. Is it right? I don't know, but that's the way they do it. And that's why we kind of had to play their game. But like I say, I always want to make sure, my philosophy is always keep the taxpayer in mind when you're making these type of decisions. But yes, it'll affect all the school districts if we're not at that point. It affects their funding from the state.
The funding is a year behind, right? So
That's correct.
Carlos, one question. What about Bimbo, Fremont, and La Gloria? Have they been adjusted recently?
So we adjusted land across the county. That's why you had large increases in the county. Their land values have been adjusted for the properties that are receiving ag. So yes.
I saw that, but like you said, Orange Grove hadn't been adjusted in like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been some adjustments made recently in those others?
No, that's even longer because the southern part of our county, Fremont, La Gloria, there's not a lot of real estate activity. So you can't really make determinations on value if you don't have data. I mean, appraisal is kind of not an exact science, but you have to have data to be able to make adjustments. We had plenty of information on what land is. I mean, we all know what farms and ranches are selling for. So we had enough information to make the adjustments on land. we have enough information on residential properties in Orange Grove. Orange Grove is one of our higher, properties sell a lot higher than they do even in the Alice area, especially the lake properties. So we have enough information for some of them, but in Southern County, we don't have a lot of information because there's not a lot of real estate activity out there.
So should they expect it like in the next couple of years?
Well, they've already received the increases in land values. So we're going to see how that affects the ratios that the state brings in 2024, 2025. If we need further adjustment,
Then you go to the cities or the more,
then we'll start on lot values like we did in Orange Grove, and how we're going to have to do analysis a little bit. But gradually over there, because like I said, there's not a lot of data in those areas.
So when there's isn't a lot of data like that, it affects the current owners, right?
Yes.
More than anything, because they don't have properties being sold.
Yeah, there's not any activity. And, in Fremont, I think there's a handful of sales, and usually those are border patrols that live there that sell their house because they're transferred somewhere else. And that's it in Fremont. There's not a lot of activity. There's a little bit of activity on land, so we were able to make adjustments on the land. But as far as houses, residential properties, there's not much.
I just had one. So is it safe to say that it was information that came down from the state, not, the reason that I asked you to come in here was because we were getting a lot of heat from a lot of people out there calling and saying, hey, what's going on? Because of course it says Jim Wells County.
Right.
First thing they think it's us, right?
Yes.
And just to clarify that we haven't raised taxes here since we've been here. So it's all just came down from the state towards things haven't been done.
Yes, the state guidelines, and like I said, before there was no consequences. Now the consequences are, they can come in, they can take over the evaluation process. It's going to be it's my goal not to have that happen. Like I said, I think it'd be a disaster for the state. It's a possibility, but yes, it's the state guidelines, and it has to do with us making sure that we are as close to market value as possible. Like I said, they want us at 95 to 105. That is so hard to hit because you're not valuing, like I'm not valuing just Trevino's house alone. I'm valuing his whole neighborhood at one time. So it's hard to hit that mark when you're valuing a whole bunch of properties at the same time. You're not just targeting and saying, look, his property has this amenities. So it's difficult to do. We're certainly going to give it a shot and try to get as close as possible. Like I said, with keeping the taxpayer in mind, not to, the decisions we make hopefully won't affect the taxpayer as much as if the state would come in and have to do it.
One of the questions, so obviously we can touch upon it, is the 10-acre rule for the farm exempt.
Yes.
The change to 10 to 15.
Yes. I was just talking to that with Rogelio. That was done a few years back in 2021. They changed the degree of intensity standards for agricultural land. The state has always wanted us to have some type of standards for ag land. We never had it. If you had an acre, half an acre, you had a cow, you'd get ag value. That was incorrect. State was honest over and over about that. Finally, in 2021, we went to our ag committee and said, okay, give us your recommendation of how many acres does it take to have, to run cattle on the land, how many acres to have a hay baling operation, how many acres to have cropland. So they came up with their recommendations, which was 10 acres for cropland and a hay operation. And then they said 15 acres for grazing. And that's where it came in. And at that time, the chief appraiser approved the recommendations from our ag committee, with 5 farmers and ranchers from our area that actually determined that. And it was approved by Sidney, which was the chief appraiser at the time. Since then, I've had, questions about why we did that, why we didn't leave it equal, 10 acres across the board. That would have been fine. Why do we have 10 acres for farmland and 15 acres for grazing? I don't know. I wasn't involved in those talks. We started the process of having people reapply and approving or disapproving it. So we kind of have to go through the process. We started in Orange Grove. Now we're doing Alice. We're going to do Brambolt and Fremont. We're going to have to go through the entire process. And then I'm going to have to meet with our ag committee and try to have that changed to something more reasonable for the people, because there's a lot of people that have, 10, 15 acres that raise goats, cattle, pigs, or have a little crop, and they actually use it. It has to be an operation that's for retail or wholesale type of operation. And a lot of people have that in those small tracts. They're not going to receive their ag for this next couple of years. So I will have to review that. Once we finish the process of what was done before, I'll go back to the ag committee and see if we can get different recommendations from them, with the help of the ag extension office.
That'll be good.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being transparent. Anytime you need any stage or anything, let us know. This is very important information for the constituents, because in the long run, it really affects our kids because of the schools. And God knows they need their money. And of course, we're in the same situation. We always take our constituents first. But we appreciate you, and anytime you need to come and update us or update the constituents, feel free.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the final plat of Lopez Edition Lot 12. I think we discussed this a little bit.
Yes, Judge, and that's, I was looking at the plat because I hadn't had a chance to look at it, and it was a bit confusing because we've already approved that plat, but we only approved lots 1 through 11. This would be lot 12. And then what was further confusing it was that lot 12 consists of some old lots numbered 1 through 5, but those were numbered not under the plat that we approved, but under a prior plat out there in that area. So that being said, this new lot 12 takes up parts of six different lots, and but those numbers don't pertain to the numbers from the plat that we've already approved. So this is right off of Badger Lane. I'm sorry, not Badger Lane, Barrera Lane, which goes north from Badger Lane. And so it abuts Barrera Lane, and it would be one 3.1 acre lot. I've reviewed the plat, everything looks fine, so this would be, we've already approved 1 through 11, so now this would be 12. This would be one additional lot.
That being said, I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item number 6 as stated.
Second motion.
I got a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 7 is a consent agenda. Consent agenda items will be voted upon with one vote and will not be discussed separately unless requested by the county judge, commissioner, or a citizen.
Judge, Commissioners Court, I just need to make one correction on the second request. It is discuss and consider budget amendment request from Constable Precinct 1 Albert Martinez to transfer $2,000 from 12551 42700 conferences and associations to 12551 45400 repair of vehicles, and the amount is $2,000 that he's going to transfer.
Not 338.
No, sir.
Can we make that adjustment, Mr. Guerra?
Yes, if it's, as long as you put it on the,
Yeah.
put the correct number on the record.
And it's 2,000 even?
2,000.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second to approve agenda item number 7 with the correction. Is there any further question or discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take action on the offer to purchase sales property, suit number 21-05-61117-CV, Resolution Finance LLC versus Bill Martinez, account number 1239508400300, all that certain tract and parcel of land containing 0.36 acres out of lot 13, block 7 of Renwick, addition of the city of Orange Grove, Jim Wells County, and being more particularly described as meets in and bounds in the certain deed with vendors lien from mid-state to Bill Martinez and Rosalie C. Martinez dated November 14th, 1996, and recorded in document number 305277 of the deed recorded records of Jim Wells County, Texas, and also being known as Lot 13C, Block 7, Remit Edition.
Yes, Judge. Commissioners, my name is Robert Cuevas. I'm the office manager for Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson. We have Joanne Pettis here, who runs the Alice office. Thank you for having this morning. What we have before you is an offer. And before I get into the offer, I just want to kind of go over a couple of things. As you know, we handle the delinquent tax collection for Jim Wells County, all of Jim Wells County. What we do is we file a lawsuit, we take it to judgment, and on those properties we have to sell, we don't like to sell property. When we do, we take it to the courthouse steps, and those that don't sell, it gets struck off. That means the county and the other taxing units, wherever that property is, takes possession of the property, struck off to that particular unit and the county. Then what we do is we entertain resale offers from people, and we bring those to you for final approval. So if you accept the offer, then we sell that property for that particular price. In this situation, as you might be aware, there are tax lien lenders who go out and solicit delinquent taxpayers to pay their delinquent taxes. We don't have anything to do with that. We don't push it. We don't encourage it. But on occasion, when we have people who go out and borrow money to pay delinquent taxes, they do that. But then again, when they do that, then the property owner then has to pay that lender that money that's been borrowed. So when that money isn't paid, then the lender, whatever lender that is, can then foreclose on the property. And they can then do what we do as far as taking the property back because they're not paid. This is the situation with this particular bid. We had a company by the name of Resolution Finance LLC who lent money to these people that were the property owner in Orange Grove, and then I guess they didn't pay them, so they foreclosed on the property. They hired a law firm, Combe and Associates, out of Buda, Texas, which is south of Austin, and an attorney who's handling this, Leah Guetta. And we've been in contact with her about this particular bid, and we decided that it was in everyone's best interest that we handle this for them, because they would come before you and they had no clue how to do it. And we explained to them, since the bid is less than what's due, then we have to bring it to you guys, all the taxing units, to the commissioners, the school board, and the other tax units for approval, because it's less than what's owed. So we agreed to go ahead and do this and bring it to you, the Commissioners Court, for review and for approval, if you want to approve the property. We finally were able to get a final. There was a misunderstanding of what the final offer was as to what you guys, the Commissioners Court and the other tax units were going to receive their portion. And if you go to we have a bid from a gentleman by the name of Chad Davis out of Sandia. He's made an offer for this property through the Resolution Finance LLC. And on the analysis of the property, you can see the date of the judgment, which is June 21st. The sale, when they conducted the sale, we didn't. We just kind of tagged along. Whenever they file a lawsuit, there's delinquent taxes in their particular foreclosure lawsuit. We tag along as an intervener, and we make sure that the county and school taxes are included, go to judgment, then they go to sale, and that sale date was December the 5th of 23. Right now, there's over $72,000 owed in delinquent taxes, penalties and interest to the taxing units. And the Resolution Finance LLC. So what we've done is we've broken out proportionally what they will get and what the tax units will get. And it's proportioned as to what's due in that particular judgment. So as you can see, if you go down to Jim Wells County, there's over $6,200 owed. You will get $4,488. That's going to be, if you accept the offer today, and the other tax units also accept the offer, that is what you will receive. We've also attached an email or some information regarding the property that they provided us. Apparently, it's a vacant house. It needs a lot of work, and this gentleman is willing to buy the property and I guess fix it up. So, but we just wanted, we told them we would bring this to the court and then you could consider it, and if you want to approve it, fine. If you don't, it's up to you. Again, it's up to the tax units to accept the offer, and if you don't, then the bid dies. And again, the county will get $4,488.33. That is what the county will receive, their portion of the judgment.
Okay, so what, actually, the current value is 83,438,
Correct.
but what's due is 72,492.
Everyone.
81 cents. The bid is 52, though.
That's what the tax units will get.
Okay.
So we did the math. We wanted to make sure everything, we presented to you what you're going to get, the county will receive. And then if it's accepted today, then we're going to go to the Orange Grove ISD, the city of Orange Grove, which I believe is Tuesday, and then the Brush Country Groundwater, and present this information to them. And hopefully, if everything goes right, and if you approve it today, then we'll go forward. If not, then,
We're actually losing about a little over 20,000 to be dispersed if we accept the bid.
the county will lose about 1,800. The school will lose about 17, right? The city will lose about 2. So, and I'm not really, to be honest, concerned about them, but worried about y'all,
Yeah.
about the court and the other taxing units.
1766.
Yes. So
What about the lien holder?
they are the lien holder.
No, I understand,
I'm sorry,
but
they were the lien, that's correct.
I understand. Are they being made 100% whole, or are they taking a hit?
They're taking a hit too, and it's on the,
Yeah, 36,000.
yeah, they're going to get about,
They owed 15 and they get 36.
taking a hit also. And that's what we explained
And
to
it's
them.
prorated the same percentage that we're being reduced?
Well, yeah, it depends on the amount of what's owed in
Right,
the
but
judgment.
pro
Correct,
rata.
pro rata, correct.
I just don't want them to be made completely whole, and then we have to take.
No,
an
no,
extra-
sir.
Okay.
We made that clear that because the county and the city and the school and the taxing units are getting less than what's owed, we have to get their approval. And then they can, you guys, I'm sorry, the Commissioner's Court, I'm sorry.
All we're doing is.
I consider you
creating-
friends.
All we're doing is creating a taxpayer, and I make a motion to approve.
Second, they lose 14,000. That's Combe and Associates.
Yeah, we're all losing. So. Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed?
Put it back in textual.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank
Sir,
you.
thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank y'all. Get this here real quick. Agenda item number 9, discuss, consider, and take action on requests pursuant to Article 59.06H, Texas CCP from the following organizations with the amount awarded from Fund 50 to be determined by Commissioners Court. Number 1 is the Allison Boys and Girls Club. Number 2, the West Side Youth Center. And number 3, the Alice Boxing Club. So we've had applications for all 3 organizations. What is the amount of money do we have in that? Do we know?
The last I checked was 30,000. Currently, that was the last I checked.
So what's available?
It's the 5, because we're supposed to leave 25 in there.
Do you have the number, the correct number?
that's in the balance?
Yeah, what we can give out.
Oh. Mark's on there.
Everything over 25,000, in other words.
Anything over 5,000.
Little over 5,000, and we have 3 applicants.
So whatever we can give out divided by 3, that's what I want to know.
Mark,
Do you know that, Noe?
I don't have the most current one. I had the previous one when we talked about it last time. We're working on closing out the month, so we don't have a current one from the, Mark might have the most current number. We have the previous.
Okay, we got till June 1st to finalize it, so.
Let me check the account right now. Let me check the current account right now.
There's an account right now as to today, that'll be good. And we can divide it by 3.
Okay.
Mark is looking at it.
Computer's running a little slow. Hold on a second.
We seem to be having a little bit of trouble with the internet.
That's been already what?
Yeah, we also have a drug program. We also have the 501(c), and I'm not sure after that. In the form, we have somebody in the audience that wants to go back to
public.
public speaking. Form.
Donation?
Having trouble getting there.
Judge, let me see the card later.
No, can't see.
30,000 305 51.
$30,305.51.
So that's 5,000.
305.
305.
You're gonna make the motion, Mr. Garcia, to split it 3 ways?
But that's the actual. Right, but you have 53. It's 3,000. 5305. Right, so you have 5305, 51. Yes, divided by 3.
Judge,
1591.65. Is that what it is?
motion to split the money 3 ways?
Hold on just a second. Let me get that total. 5,151.
1768.50.
Check in, yo le debo.
Okay, so, yes, 1768.50.
1768.50.
Right. Okay. So, Mr. Garcia, we have $5,305.51. If we divided that by 3, it's $1,768.50.
We have an excess of 15,000, right?
So
5,000.
5,000.
5,000? Oh, I thought he said 40.
No, 30,000.
30, okay. But whatever it is, Judge, I think divided by 3 would be the fair way to do it.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to
Second.
divide the excess money by 3. And I guess to be distributed on June the 1st, I think that's policy, right, Noe?
Okay, so I have a motion and I have a second to disperse the available monies of $5,305.51 within the three organizations, which will be $1,768.50. I have a motion, now a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, discuss, consider, and take action to authorize Jimmo County Emergency Services Coordinator Lance Brown to advertise and post for requests for proposals for monitoring services. It's come to our attention that we already went out for disaster recovery, and we're gonna open those bids here in a little, in just a bit. But we also have to have, the monitoring services also. And we have to go out for RFP for those. So, that being said, I make a motion to approve agenda item number 10 as stated.
What is it actually monitoring, Judge?
I don't know exactly what the monitoring services is, and Mr. Brown is not here. Ms. Isabel, did he give you any idea?
I don't see any attachments either, Judge. I don't know what I think this is to, like post-disaster, that they monitor, because there's a lot of exceptions. You don't have to go through a lot of the bidding procurement process because it needs to be dealt with immediately. But somebody needs to be monitoring to make sure that nobody's taking advantage of us.
Can we table this until he's here?
I don't have a problem with tabling it.
I don't hate to,
Make a motion to table, I don't understand.
explain it a little bit better to us.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with it, just want to make sure we're on the right page.
I didn't.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second to table. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 11, discuss, consider, and take action to open sealed bids for disaster and storm recovery services to be reviewed and recommended by evaluation committee. And I think it's those, how many do we have, Mrs. Isabel, 3 or 2?
There's
Three? I think it's the big ones over there, yeah. The boxes, I think, right? These are for the other one, right? You said 3, that's 6 boxes? Oh, those are different, oh, okay.
Hey, Mike, is there like a minimum or anything on this bid? Is it just, or a max price, or is there any, is it capped off anywhere? It's pretty much a free-for-all here, no? Judge?
What's that?
Is it capped off somewhere? How much they can bid for it?
I don't think there's a cap, no. It just,
Whoever gets it, comes in, makes a killing.
okay, this first one is Ash Britt. They are from Deerfield Beach, Florida. I don't think there's, let's see here. Let's see. Working capital. They don't have specific numbers, but they do have underwriting for 100 million. And they've done several other projects. I don't have a specific number
We're
on it.
gonna have an evaluating committee, Judge, to help us.
Yeah. So the first one is Ash Britt. Let's get the second one here. The next one is Sears, or CERES, Environmental Services Incorporated from Houston, Texas.
Ashby was in Florida.
This one is DRC Emergency Services, Galveston, Texas.
That's you.
You all right? Is that bothering you right there? Okay, that being said, I've opened the three proposals. They'll be sent to the evaluation committee. That being said, that being opened, I make a motion, we approve agenda item number 11 as stated.
Second.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 12, discuss, consider, and take action on request from Commissioner Precinct 1, Margie Gonzalez, to approve the terms of and enter into a lease purchase agreement with Candice with a buyback program for a 2024 Mack Granite tractor truck with a ox dump. Please excuse me. Ox dump body, master lease number 10760, schedule number 015.
So this is just the buyback, they corrected the paperwork, like the precinct 3 and 4 are on. We used to have it also, but then,
This is a one-year lease.
yes.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? And this is the one that we tabled last time, right? Okay. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 13, discuss, consider, and take action on approving the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act timeline to meet guidelines and policies.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Norma Salas. I'm y'all's new ARPA coordinator here. And I have already met a few of our commissioners and some of our department heads. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Can you put the speaker a little bit?
Yes, sir. I'm here today because last week, Judge, myself, and Ms. Isabel attended a web seminar on the rulings of our obligation of our funds. And through the United States Treasury Department, we need to obligate our funds before December 31st, 2024. So we came up with a timetable on how we're going to work on this to get this obligation. And was this added to y'all's package? Yeah, it's added. Okay. So the timetable is to obligate our funds by August 1st of 2024. Then by December 1st, we are to have our signed MOUs, agreement signed, because the deadline is December 31st of 2024.
August 31st?
December 31st.
December 31st of 2024,
Yeah, but committed by when?
committed by,
Okay. Not everybody has one
oh,
of these.
okay, I'm sorry. So being that the obligation, what the government is letting us know that we need to come into place, the definition in order to place the property and service entity into contracts, sub-awarded, and similar transactions that require payments. Simply put it in payment legally be made for some good or service, an obligation has to be established. So we need to commit our monies. And if we don't commit our monies, we are obligated to send it back to the United States Treasury. So we need to work on that.
So that's done by August 1st.
By August 1st, we want to have an idea of what y'all are going to be obligating your money, so we could have that
This is,
in action, so we could know.
yes, by August 1st, we want all the departments to make sure that all their money is obligated to whatever they had committed themselves to do with that money. And the main purpose is everything's got to be obligated by December 31st. In other words, we got to know where the money's going. They got to know where the money's going.
Yes,
Okay.
in our projects.
And what is meant by December 1st is we need to have it signed MOUs by either the departments or whoever's that money's been obligated to.
Yes, with contracts and with our meetings and meeting with our commissioners and our head departments, we'll see where our balances are and start working on what y'all are going to be obligating on your funds. I think most of the commissioners, I've already given y'all a balance, a running balance. And I need to meet with some of the departments that still have some of their funds. And then from there, we could. So this timetable is really a timetable that we worked on, so we won't be pressured for our deadline. Because the government is giving us to December 31st to have it obligated. But by January, we would have to report and submit what our obligations are. So we're doing a timetable for it to be, that we won't run out of time, and we don't want to lose our funds either.
And also, what needs to be known is if the money's not obligated, we have several projects that we're working on as a whole county. We're gonna have to have, for a lack of a better word, a catch-all fund. For example, if your money's not obligated, the county's gonna have to obligate it, because if we don't, we're gonna lose it. And we're not gonna lose no money. So we're gonna try to have a catch-all interagency agreement with the county judge or with commissioner's court, however we do this. But that's gonna catch all money that's not obligated. And then we're gonna have to come and obligate it by by December 31st, so we don't lose it.
Correct.
There is a little bit of pressure because we need to know. We need to know by August 1st where the money's going with all departments.
Yes, sir.
The pressure's there because there's a chance we can lose the money, and we don't want to do that.
And now just a reminder that it was obligated for a certain item or whatever it be. They can't change that, right? It has to, they gotta use it for what they said they were gonna use it, and that's it. If it's not being used for that, then it comes back to, like, we decide what's,
Yeah.
right?
Either they bring
They're
it
not
back
gonna be
to,
able to say, well, you know what, I haven't bought this, but I'm gonna buy something else, so you can't do that. You specifically told us you're gonna buy that, that's.
yeah, and I think for the most part, all the departments are obligating their money.
Yes, yes.
There's some other organizations that may not be. We're gonna meet personally with all of them. That way we know. And as far as we're concerned, like I said, we have several projects that money can go to and be obligated, and we do good with that money.
Yes, and as everyone working together, this is our goal in getting our funds dispersed out by 2026. So we'll work together as a team and we'll get all that done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second to approve agenda item number 13 as stated. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 14, discuss, consider, and take actions to open sealed bids for professional services for civil engineer to provide professional engineering services for the swine barn, concrete pad, and drainage improvements at the Jim Wells County Fairgrounds Complex. We had two.
Was that included also drainage the last time? Judge? Was it including the drainage amount the last time?
The first one is Fulcrum Consulting Services, La Feria, Texas. This next one is R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation from FAR, Texas. Yes, sir, that's R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation from FAR. And those are the only two. So I make a recommendation, we approve
Second.
and send it to the evaluation committee. I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 15, discuss, consider, and take action to adopt an order adopting Jim Wells County nuisance abatement procedures. This, Mr. Guerra, did he leave? Is he still around? There he is, right there. Yeah.
We meet in the next item. I thought it was gonna take a little bit of time. What is this, a nuisance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the only difference is we made the changes based on the concerns that Commissioner Huicho Gonzalez had. There is now an exception for agricultural land and also for any facility that is licensed by TCEQ. So basically, If you have a solid waste collection location, that's also exempt. But if it qualifies for the ag use reduction that Carlos was talking about, then this nuisance ordinance does not apply to that. Now, what we just heard was that if it's for grazing, it's got to be 15 acres or more. If it's for farming, it's 10 acres or more. So bear that in mind. If we're talking about property in the unincorporated part of Jim Wells that's under those amounts, then the ordinance would still apply.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second to approve agenda item number 15 as stated. Is there any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 16, discuss, consider, and take action on payroll and bills as submitted by the county auditor with the exception of Fund 52, 53, and 54.
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we'll go back to agenda item number 3, public testimony. We have one, Bianca Matthews.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Here today to represent the people of Precinct 18. We know that Ms. Monica De La Cruz had awarded Precinct 18, Jim Wells County, $1.2 million in government funding to try to start the developing plans of the mud development out in Precinct 18. It's been a long journey, guys. I will give all our thanks on behalf of the community to the court. We know that today we're standing up here in a process we haven't been before. We've never been this far as trying to get water out to everybody in the community, and not just a health factor, guys, but a safety factor when we look at, our rural areas. And we all remember the 2020 freezes. Every resident out there that had a water well was affected greatly, and not just with lack of water in a place that was already in dire stress of such a resource, but it put a very huge strain on a lot of citizens within that area just to get those wells back up and running again. So we do appreciate the fact that we are up here today. The last time I stood up here to speak on behalf of Precinct 18, we had just faced a tragic fire that claimed life, and we had asked the court to be proactive in looking for a solution to find something that we could finally offer citizens, right? So I think we are at that point, and Tecolote residents want to let you know that we are fully behind you. We are behind Margie Gonzalez. We are excited to see her proceed forward with this plan. We know that the money awarded was specifically for the developing plan. So Tecolote residents believe that this is a huge chance for our court to look at. This is an opportunity to lay a foundation of a water source in the north end that has never been there. Precinct 18 is about 20 plus miles in every direction to get to your furthest gas station or your closest town. So it's kind of a struggle when we're facing, fires, or we're trying to put everything where it needs to go. So it's kind of been a process for us, right? But Jim Wells County has the opportunity for the first time, and our residents want to let our court know that Monica De La Cruz has given us the opportunity, has given the court the opportunity to work alongside our state to finally find a solution that's going to fit everyone, and it's going to benefit not only right now when things get done, but it's going to cause a ripple within our county on the north side, creating new jobs, putting money back into our local economy, which gives us a boost, driving new businesses to that north end so that our county can finally tap into that revenue that, it's a high trafficked area. And let's not include the fact that Highway 281 is also on the emergency evacuation route for the hurricane. And we've seen, history has shown us in these past few months that when there's one route, we kind of get stuck on there, and 281 is that one route for us. So if that plan gets activated and there are no resources around us, such as gas stations, more than likely we're going to face a standstill in that area, and we're going to leave citizens without a way to get out. So when we look at this project, we're asking that the commissioners look at this project in a brighter light, and we're asking that y'all proceed forward. We were proactive, we were excited, we know that Monica de la Cruz is not an easy task to get money from. So just the fact that the state is stepping in and offering an opportunity like this is quite grand in itself. This is an opportunity that Tecolotians believe not just to serve the citizens that are there, guys, but to serve the entire county. This is not just 400 residents that we're talking about, but we're talking about 30,000 residents in the entire county, in a county where we're already seeing population drop slowly every year. And that sometimes is because there's a lack of opportunity in our area when it comes to employment and growth, right? So this is a way for us to lay that foundation by moving forward today and saying, yes, we want to get together. We want to see the plans. We want to draw up the development. We want to know how much it's going to cost the county, how long it's going to take, how much it's going to feed out. All of those answers are going to be all of those questions are going to be answered, guys, as soon as we can get the plan developed. And we understand that today in this process, the sole authority lies in your hands. So to proceed forward, we're asking that our commissioners look at this in a light of great change for Jim Wells County, the effect that you can bring not only to the citizens of Tecolote, but to the entire county, because I think we're at a point when we should be driving forward, and we want to offer some information to the court as far as why we believe that that is the case, why we believe you should say yes in proceeding forward and letting our Commissioner Margie get to work as soon as possible. There's still time on her term, and we'd like to see her get to use that time, right? In 2006, the United Nations set together, and we all know America is included in that, United States of America. We have 12 global goals to either eradicate, eliminate, or improve certain places in our world. This one project, by saying yes, hits on 3 of those global goals. Everything connected to those global goals are going to be funded exponentially. So the possibility of keep going forward is there for us. We just have to take the opportunity, and we're asking that our court do that for us. We seen that y'all listened to us the last time we were here, and we're asking that you continue to listen to us, that you continue to fight for us, that you continue to look at only the positive light and driving things forward from here, because this is an opportunity that's going to change many, many, many lives. Tecolote is behind y'all 100% regardless of how you choose here, because we understand that y'all are our local elected officials. So we are asking that you give us that same chance in return to improve the county. We just ask the county to believe in the future and to put forward a plan for a new stadium that cost us a lot of money. And people are willing to do that because they want the future. They want our kids to have a better future. The north side is right there ready for us to build upon. And this is the first chance we're going to get. I think that Monica de la Cruz has given us a lifeline, has given the county a lifeline, has given our officials a lifeline that was never there. Collaboration between our state officials and our local officials is so important to getting big projects like this done, so that we can continue to grab funds when they're needed, so that we can show them that, hey, when we go and we put forward our citizens and we want to work best for them and we want to do it in a timely manner, that we're going to keep our word. And the more that we do, the more that we show them that we're interested in providing the best we absolutely can, they're going to help us in return. So we're just asking, Tecolote is asking that you consider taking a vote today to proceed forward. If not, put that on the agenda for the next Commissioners Court so that Tecolote will know definitively how we are going to proceed forward. If we're going to proceed forward and finally develop the plan that so many people have been excited for, we're just excited to finally see it take shape. So we're just asking all of our Commissioners Court today to believe in your citizens and your constituents as much as they have believed in you. So, thank you.
Thank you. Perfect timing. It was 5 minutes. Thank you. I do want to recognize Mr. Villarreal. He's here again from Congresswoman De La Cruz's office. Thank you for being around a lot. We appreciate that. Shows that y'all care. Thank you so much.
And I just want to say also that on May the 10th, they'll be, no, May 30th, they'll be having like a announcement of the monies that were awarded at 10:30. And then on June the 4th, we're going to have an administrative workshop on how we're going to process with using these funds.
It's good. Okay, that being said, I think we're on agenda item number 17.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, I have a second to adjourn. Any further discussion needed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you guys for attending. Appreciate y'all.